North Korea and South Korea both test fired ballistic missiles this morning, the latest hailstorm in an arms race that has seen both countries develop arsenals of increasingly sophisticated weaponry. These missiles, directed to the east coast toward the country of Japan, have prompted their prime minister to announce the action, deeming the situation as absolutely outrageous. The United States Indo-Pacific Command swiftly issued a response. We are aware of the missile launch and are consulting closely with our allies and partners. While we have assessed that this event does not pose an immediate threat to U.S. personnel or territory or to our allies, the missile launch highlights the destabilizing impact of DPRK's illicit weapons program. The U.S. commitment to the defense of the Republic of Korea and Japan remains ironclad. Gordon Chang, author of The Great U.S.-China Tech War, joins me to discuss. Also, please follow his Twitter handle at Gordon G. Chang. Gordon, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much, Buck.
Tell us what the significance of this is. We got missiles being fired. We got North Korea involved. What's happening?
Well, North Korea decided it no longer wanted to be ignored. So over the weekend, we had the cruise missile launches. Today, we had the firing of two ballistic missiles, which, by the way, appeared to have fallen into Japan's exclusive economic zone. That's international water, but that is considered to be hostile. And as you point out, just a few hours after those North Korean launches, we had the South Koreans do something which was somewhat unprecedented. This is like the seventh nation in the world that can launch a ballistic missile from a submarine. But South Korea is the only country to have done so without a nuclear arsenal of its own. South Korea has been caught with dangerous uranium experiments. So who knows where this is all going to lead?
Well, yeah, what do you think is going on here, Gordon? I mean, I think the part of this, you point out that North Korea is acting out almost like a spoiled child in the international community sense because it wants attention. Right? The Biden administration, Biden's team probably wants to show their foreign policy bona fides by, bending the knee and offering concessions to Kim Jong-un. But I want to know, what's the South Korean play here? Why are they firing off missiles?
Well, the military has been continually upgrading missiles. But the South Korean military is very different than the South Korean president, Moon Jae-in, who is very pro-North Korea, very pro-China. And this comes at a time where the South Korean people are actually becoming anti-China. China is now less popular in South Korea than Japan, which is a stunning development. So Moon Jae-in, the president, he wants to deal with North Korea, and North Korea understands that. They know that Moon is in office only for a few months more because he's up for re-elect. He's up for his only term ends next May or so. So this is a really important time for Kim Jong-un. He needs sanctions relief, and the way to do it, he believes, is to launch missiles.
The Prime Minister of Japan denounced the missile firings in the direction of his country. He said, the government of Japan is determined to further step up our vigilance and surveillance to be prepared for any contingencies. What is Japan going to do if its Korean neighbors are both advancing their missile technology, and obviously North Korea with its nuclear arsenal is the one that we're particularly concerned about?
Well, I think what Japan's going to do is call up the United States. We have a mutual defense treaty, and if there's going to be problems in East Asia, all the players are going to be involved in one way or another, because we've got to come to defense of Japan. Japan is going to go to the defense of Taiwan. China right now is making very belligerent noises. They've got internal problems, Buck, right now, where you've got a real estate company, which looks like it's going to go belly up, could take the Chinese economy and financial system with it unless Beijing rescues it. So right now, Beijing has a lot of incentive to cause problems around the region to distract the attention of the Chinese people from some pretty bad economic and financial management.
China's state-run media, you mentioned what's going on over there, published an op-ed from its editorial board vowing that China's military will soon confront the U.S. in a hostile exchange. Quote, the U.S. will definitely see the PLA show up at its doorstep in the not-too-distant future. The two sides' warships and aircraft on the seas will carry huge mutual strategic hostility. The two countries will not yield to each other. Once the situation gets out of control and triggers military clash between China and the U.S., we must give full play to our home field advantage. China will definitely win once there's a war. Okay, so this is belligerent rhetoric and saber rattling and rah rah, the talking points, the whole thing. But something to be worried about, Gordon? I mean, is it showing a change in mentality from people that actually make decisions in the Chinese Communist Party?
I think so, Buck. And the reason is after the fall of Kabul, we saw a massive propaganda blitz saying that the United States couldn't defend its allies, specifically referring to Taiwan, but the implication is also Japan, Philippines, Australia, and at the same time that the United States couldn't stand up to China. This is occurring at a time where the Chinese leadership is really very aggressive. They think the U.S. is falling apart. And when the general who is the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff calls them up, it reinforces that notion that the U.S. is in terminal decline. So Beijing believes it can do pretty much what it wants. And that change in mentality is important, especially because they are building those 345 or so silos for their DF-41 missile. They're going to use that to intimidate anyone that wants to come to the rescue of Taiwan. And this could actually be the start of history's last war.